Welcome to the Vine Resources Podcast Show.
Welcome to another edition of the Vine Resources Podcast Show. My name is David Lawrence. I'm delighted today to be in the offices of Glint, and I'm with the founder and the CEO, Jason Cozens. Jason, thanks so much for joining me.
That's great. Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Well, and thanks for showing us your amazing offices in the T building here in Shoreditch, in the heart of London. It's a fascinating building, and I'm sure it's exciting for your team to be here.
Yeah, it's a really vibing area. People love the area and the different restaurants and bars and events that go on around us. So yeah, it's a hive of activity.
Jason, I'd love to know a little bit more about you and the company. Glint is such an amazing company. There's so much talk about the company in the marketplace, in the news. Can you share us a little bit of insight for our listeners, please?
Yeah, well, I'm not from the financial sector at all. I was qualified as an architect back in the day, and from there went into 3D computer graphics and virtual reality. Mm-hmm. Some of the first things I did was visualizing the Sydney Olympic Stadium and Wembley Stadium before they were built, or the St George's Chapel at the Queen's residence at Windsor when that burnt down, showing everybody what this complicated vaulted ceiling had looked like. So I was in the virtual reality game before the first time it was trendy, not the second, and that led naturally on to people wanting to have presentations in multimedia and on the web, and then we had to start developing websites and then e-commerce sites, and of course back then systems didn't exist for e-commerce. You couldn't get an off-the-shelf e-commerce store, so we had to build all our own technology. In fact, what we were doing was looking at this merging digital landscape and saying, well, what can we do with this? So it was a wonderful time actually, before there were any kind of best practices of what you do. We actually had to look at the opportunity and say, what can we do with this thing called the internet? What is the opportunity around digital to be able to improve efficiencies or improve sales, or do things differently that never been done before? Yeah. And that's where I was for a while, developing e-commerce solutions for high street retailers like JD Sports, or developing solutions for European manufacturers like Weidmuller. Mm-hmm. And then the financial crisis came along, and suddenly for the first time I'm seeing people queuing outside Northern Rock Bank near where I used to live up in the northeast, and I'm thinking, wow, that really shocked me, because I had seen that before when I lived in Hong Kong for a while as a student. As I was leaving Hong Kong to travel on the Trans-Siberian Railway back to home, I saw a run on a bank. I didn't know what it was at the time, and I found out later, but to see that in your own hometown is really quite shocking. And that got me to questioning, well, what is money? What is a bank? I didn't realise that a bank is not a safe deposit of my money. Yes. That's how I perceived it. Yeah. I thought it was a safe deposit. It's not. I put my money in the bank. The bank, that money ceases to be mine. Yeah. That bank then has a liability to me. They then go and put it at risk. Mm-hmm. They then lend it out to people. And most people are quite happy with that normally, because they're getting a yield, an interest rate for that risk. But I didn't understand that. I don't think most people did understand it until the financial crisis. I think they did see it as a safe deposit, and suddenly there's a growing realization that actually it's not. Mm-hmm. That the only way you can get a yield on something is if you're putting it at risk. And the second thing was that money depreciates in ways that are totally out of my control. A pound bought me at least 4 chocolate bars, I'm sure, when I was younger. And now it only buys me 1, and that chocolate bar is smaller. And of course the financial industry are really great at coming up with fancy words like shrinkflation, they call that. Mm-hmm. But people, again, they're not really that conscious of it, but your money is depreciating in ways that are far out of your control because of central bank policies and things like that. And so, for instance, the pound has lost 98% of its value, I think, its purchasing power since in the last 100 years. So as the US dollar, all fiat currency, all paper money it goes to zero eventually. Mm-hmm. So again, my mind was thinking, what's the solution to this? There's got to be a better way. It made me think about, well, what is money itself? If I'm lucky enough for you to do some work for me, then I owe you one. And that IOU, that promise that I have for you, is what I think money should be. It should be the ledger of people's promises with each other. And they certainly shouldn't be corruptible. Mm-hmm. That ledger should be sacrosanct. Mm-hmm. And the problem is with money is that I think that anything where the nature of that store of promises that we have between each other, if that nature is defined by human beings and managed by human beings, then it's subject to corruption.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it is a fiat currency that's managed by a central bank, or even if it is a cryptocurrency which is directed by a group of different people, they are subject to corruption. Central banks can create more money and they can therefore debase the currency. Cryptocurrencies can change, they can be forked, etc. And I sat there thinking, well, what's the solution? Of course, the solution was staring me in the face all the time. I didn't know too much about it when I first looked at it, but it was gold.
Mm-hmm.
Gold is the proven, longest, most reliable store of value that man has ever had, and we've had it for 5,000 years. And everybody inherently knows that, but deep down they understand it's valued anywhere I go in the world as well. If I go to India or Tokyo or the US, you pull gold out, people know it's valuable. They know it's a good store of value.
Yeah.
And it also, apart from any time in history as well, so even when there's conflict as well. In fact, when there is conflict or when there's trouble, gold becomes the currency of last resort, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But it's stuck in a vault normally,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a very good medium of exchange. So it's a great store of value, but not a great medium of exchange. So I kind of thought, well, again, why can't it be used as money? People would say to me, I have maybe 5, 10 or even 20% of my portfolio in gold, but it's stuck in a vault and I can't use it.
Yeah.
I can't use it to buy coffee. And that's really what got me going, because I'd spent the last 15, 20 years thinking, how do we do it differently? And I think it's important for people to be asking those kind of questions, and that's what led me to looking at how the financial system worked, how the payment system worked. And what we've done effectively is built cutting-edge banking and payments technology that combined with gold allows gold to be used as money in every sense of the word, how you understand it. You can buy the coffee downstairs. Wherever we travel in the world, we can use it as long as it's MasterCard's accepted. Now you can have your gold safely in a vault, but you can buy those hotels and whatever you want to buy, what product or service, you can now use for the first time ever gold to be able to do that. The world's most reliable form of money now.